Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Imagine if the crayon-drawn tales of yesteryears held a mirror to tomorrow's headlines. Join us in the realm of whimsical sketches and playful storylines. Beneath their vibrant colors and playful characters in our cherished cartoons lies tales that eerily mirror our future. Shocking times when The Simpsons predicted some devastating incidents. Game of Thrones' fiery ending. Think back to that breathtaking moment when Daenerys rode her dragon and caused it to release fire on a city. The dragon's flames left a trail of ruin, inflicting chaos and destruction wherever they went. It upended your world, didn't it? But wait for the twist here. The Simpsons saw it coming long before the show was aired. That's right! All the way back in 2017, Simpsons reenacted a Game of Thrones climax that was released in 2019. How they did it is impenetrable, but it happened the exact same way as The Simpsons predicted it. Lady Gaga halftime show. Did you ever notice something funny about The Simpsons? Stuff that happens in their cartoon world ends up happening in ours too. The Simpsons had this cool episode where Lady Gaga was flying in the sky, singing her heart out.
Oh, my monster's so beautiful. Disco student.
She even rocked out on a piano in the middle of Springfield. Now, jump to 2017. The big game, the Super Bowl. And guess who's there? Yup, Lady Gaga. And guess what she did? She flew, and she did her magic on the piano too. It was like watching the cartoon come to life. So, what do you think? Was it just a lucky guess by The Simpsons? Or did they have some super secret time machine? Now, I don't know about you, but these moments make The Simpsons extra cool and spooky. Tiger attack. Back in 1993, The Simpsons had shown this super cool place where everyone would gamble.
A round of applause, please, for Anastasia. She loves show business.
In one show, there were these two dudes, Gunter and Ernst. This was all back in season 5, episode 10. Everything's going awesome until a white tiger decides it's done playing nice and goes after the duo. Crazy, right? Well, now here comes the super wild part. 10 whole years after this cartoon episode, something super similar happened in real life. Roy, from the real Siegfried and Roy, got attacked by a tiger from their show. I mean, what? Did the cartoon peeps have access to the future? Do some people just have super cool prediction powers? Or is the world just hella weird? What's your thoughts on that? Faulty voting machine. In 2008, The Simpsons showed Homer stepping up to cast his vote for Obama with excitement in the US general election.
Hello, I'd like to vote for president, governor, and anything that will take money away from our parks and libraries.
But the machine continuously swung his vote elsewhere and forced him to eventually vote for someone other than Obama.
One vote for McCain. Thank you.
I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Eventually, in 2012, a voting machine in Pennsylvania repeated the same glitch as shown in the cartoon. The machine repeatedly toggled people's votes from Obama to Mitt Romney. Well, it won't be unfair to say that The Simpsons, time and time again, dished out hints of the future, didn't it? Disney buys Fox. In 1998, The Simpsons episode titled When You Dish Upon a Star was released. That episode showed a scene outside the 20th Century Fox studio, cheekily labeled as part of Disney. Now you won't believe it, but after 2 decades, in March 2019, Disney actually buys 21st Century Fox, making the prediction come true. Who knows what else this fun cartoon is giving a massive future hint for? Submarine incident. All right, have you heard about that spooky real-life story of the Titan submarine that just vanished? Yup, it went underwater on a mission and then, poof, gone. Super mysterious, right? But hold on, because things are gonna get even weirder in a moment. Flashback to a funky show we all love? You guessed it, The Simpsons. Zooming over to 2006, there's this zany episode, Simpsons Tids, in season 17. Homer, he's chasing treasures with a dude he thinks might be his dad in a shipwreck named Piso Mojado. But whoops, their mini-sub gets stuck in some tricky coral. Deep breaths, everyone, because, spoiler, Homer wakes up just fine. But it's a little eerily similar to the Titan's unfortunate story. Wild, isn't it? It's like The Simpsons had a definite peek into the future. NSA spying. Now, let's talk back in 2013, when Edward Snowden blew the whistle and exposed some pretty hush-hush stuff about the NSA.
NSA and the intelligence community in general, collecting your communications.
Yep, he revealed how the National Security Agency was listening into phone conversations, searching for what they called enemies of the state. Pretty intense, right? Now, get this. Way before Snowden's big reveal, back in 2007, The Simpsons gave us a sneaky peek into something eerily similar. There was this scene where Marge accidentally spills some government secrets.
Oh, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
And suddenly, we're inside the NSA's headquarters. And what do we see? A whole team glued to screens, listening in on calls.
Everybody, I found one! The government actually found someone we're looking for!
It's wild. Every time I think it's just some goofy cartoon, they still surprise us by turning regular giggles into gasps of shock. It's like they're magicians, making us wonder and laugh all at once. President Trump prediction. Now let me tell you about how the cartoons predicted Donald Trump's presidency. Yeah, in the year 2000, we watched Lisa mentioning that her predecessor was none other than Donald Trump.
Inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
She also mentioned the economic depression the country would face under his presidency.
We're broke.
Years later, in the year 2017, the people of America elected Donald Trump, and along with him, an economic crisis hit the states. Surprising, right? But that's not all from Donald Trump predictions. Here is another one where the former president is descending from an elevator. Now, fast forward to 2016, screens worldwide captured the real Donald Trump making a similar action to announce his presidential bid. The parallels are uncanny. It seems they had a clear vision of events yet to unfold when creating the show. USA winning curling challenge. All right, get ready for a wild ride back to the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. So the US men's curling team did something totally unexpected.
1, 2, 5 points for the USA!
Out of the blue, they nabbed a gold medal by defeating, wait for it, Sweden. Yeah, a huge surprise win.
He concedes defeat!
Now, here's where it gets spooky. 8 years before this, in 2010, our favorite cartoon family, The Simpsons, gave us a little sneak peek. In the episode Boy Meets Curl, Marge and Homer, along with Agnes and Seymour Skinner, made this wacky curling team.
I like your style, Blue. Want to join our team?
If Homer can join with me.
Fine.
And guess what they did? They won gold for the US by beating, yep, you guessed it, Sweden.
Take that, Sweden.
It's moments like these that make me wonder. Well, hey, whatever the case, it's still mind-blowingly cool. COVID-19 prediction. Now listen to a fascinating story from The Simpsons vault. Back in 1993, in one of their episodes, they cooked up a plot about a flu outbreak. It started in Asia and hit Springfield like a storm. They even gave it a name, the Osaka flu. Sounds kinda familiar, right? I guess you guys are aware of the COVID-19 pandemic then. The parallels between the show and real life are pretty damn surprising. But hold on. As it turns out, when I did a little internet sleuthing, I discovered that The Simpsons' prediction wasn't entirely spot on. That famous news image they showed us? Yup, it was actually photoshopped. And guess what? The flu in the episode didn't come from China, it started in Japan. So while believing everything exactly, a little research into it is really important, as long as it's not our channel. Smartwatches and video calls. Okay, now move on to an AI-dominated era. Imagine this, a universe right at your wrist. Yeah, you heard it right! Today, the world isn't just at your fingertips, it's wrapped around your wrist. With the rise of the smartwatch, tasks once limited to bulky devices can now be executed with a flick of your wrist. Back in 1995, The Simpsons rolled out an episode titled Lisa's Wedding. We can see one of the characters wearing a watch and talking to it. Did you notice something dangling from his wrist? Not simply a watch, this is a multifunctional wristwatch. Yep, you got it right, it's a smartwatch. Keep in mind that it was 1995, way before we were all strutting around with technology on our wrists. So, were the Simpsons team just having a fun day, or were they genuinely peeking into tech future? Either way, hats off to the makers for always keeping us on our toes. Miss Universe Mix-Up. From The Simpsons, let's travel to the futuristic world of Futurama. In 2000, during Season 2, Futurama showcased an intergalactic beauty competition.
Hey, let's put an end to this pathetic hoedown.
The host mistakenly crowned Leela and hastily rectified by announcing the actual victor.
Wait, what are you people, idiots? I'm still going mano a mano with this envelope. And the winner is...
Seems like a typical cartoonish blunder, right? But wait for the twist. A real-world parallel unfolds on the Miss Universe stage. Steve Harvey announces Ariadna Gutierrez as the winner, only to backtrack moments later, presenting the crown to the actual winner, Pia Alonso Wurtzbach.
The first runner-up is Colombia.
But later, Harvey termed his blunder an honest mistake.
I will take responsibility for this. It was my mistake.
So, what do you think? Was Futurama genuinely predictive? Or is life sometimes as unreal as a cartoon? The Shard. Now, buckle up and zoom back to 1995. Imagine Lisa Simpson, you know, the smart one with the spiky hair. She's walking through London. Think big red buses and the Queen. And while she's exploring, there's this huge building right next to the famous Tower Bridge. Guess what? It looks just like the Shard building in London. But here's the twist. The real Shard wasn't even a twinkle in anyone's eye at that time. Crazy, right? Here is one thing for sure. The makers sure did know how to surprise us and make us go, whoa! Three-eye fish scandal. Alright, so way back in 1990, in Season 2 of The Simpsons, there was this goofy fish. Guess what? It had 3 eyes, and they named it Blinky.
1, 2, 3.
Kinda like a fun toy, right? Bart found this silly fish on a day out fishing, but it doesn't stop there. Roll that calendar up to 2011. You know, a good 21 whole years later. Some dude in Argentina, while fishing, actually caught a real fish with, 3 eyes, near a power plant no less. And guess what? More of these crazy Blinky lookalikes kept showing up, even in places like Brooklyn and Canada. Now, I don't know about you, but I found that one really surprising. Ebola virus. Alright, now imagine this. The year is 1997, right? In this one Simpsons episode called Lisa's Sacks, something wild happened. Marge, the awesome mom, read Bart a story called Curious George and the Ebola virus. See, here's the thing. Ebola was a thing back then, but not many people talked about it. After a few years, boom, it's all over the news. So you gotta wonder, was The Simpsons just making a joke or actually predicting about the future outbreak? Who knows? But man, isn't it strange how sometimes cartoons and real life can seem just so close together? Richard Branson in space. Alright, now gather round and talk about The Simpsons, right? Well, they had this super cool episode called The War of Art. Now, it wasn't just about spaceships and stars, but about deep thoughts and funny jokes.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
But now, here's the wacky part. They showed this super rich guy, Richard Branson, floating like a balloon in a spaceship surrounded by paintings. Kinda like having a floating art museum. Well, guess what happened next? After a few years, you'd be shocked to know that the real Richard Branson zoomed into space in his own spaceship.
Oh my God.
Yup, just like in the cartoon. I mean, who does that? And guess which episode had this wild prediction? Season 25, episode 15. Isn't it strange how The Simpsons seem to peek into the future? What do you think? Nobel Peace Prize. Alright, in 2010, pals Lisa and Milhouse from The Simpsons were goofing around, making silly bets on who'd win the big, shiny Nobel Prize.
Watching the Nobel Prize announcements live from Stockholm.
Among the list of brainy names, there's this guy, Bengt Holmström. Sounds random, right? Well, hold on to your socks, because after 6 years, that very same Holmström didn't just win a Nobel Prize. He bagged the big one, the Nobel in Economics. Crazy, right? Do you think The Simpsons predicted the future here, or was it just a wild, wacky coincidence? I mean, what if they're tossing hints about the future our way? Keep watching, and who knows what we might discover next. Greece economic collapse. Now let's move on to when the whole world was talking about Greece's massive money problems back in 2015. They were in such a tight spot that they became the first country to ever miss paying back a loan to this big group called the IMF. Imagine not having enough in your piggy bank to buy that toy you've been saving up for. Now, let's rewind a bit. 3 years before all this money drama happened, our favorite TV family, The Simpsons, had a sneaky little joke. In one episode, there was this funny line on a news ticker that said, "Europe puts Greece on eBay." Could you imagine selling a whole country on an online shop? Sounds funny, right? So what's the deal with The Simpsons? Were they just making a silly joke, or did they have some magical future-telling powers? But one thing's clear, when watching The Simpsons, you start expecting the unexpected. God particle. Let's talk about the Higgs boson particle next. It's a tiny little thing that made a huge splash in the world of science back in 2012. But you know what? The Simpsons character, Homer Simpson himself, was doodling about it way back in 1998. Crazy stuff! Now, roll the clock back with me. In Season 10, Episode 2, titled The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer's trying to fill the big shoes of Thomas Edison, playing around as an inventor. In the midst of all the laughs, there's this moment with Homer and a chalkboard. Now, it seems like a random jumble of numbers. But here's where your mind's gonna be blown. A genius named Simon Singh noticed something wild. Those random scribbles? They were super close to the real-life mass of the Higgs boson particle. Yup, 14 years before the big discovery, Homer was already on it. Isn't that crazy? I mean, was it just a lucky guess? Or do the folks at Simpsons have some special power here? Whatever it is, I can't wait to see what they're gonna predict next. Autocorrection. Hey, do you know about those big, blocky mobile phones from way back? Yeah, the ones that looked like bricks. Well, now imagine using one of those, and it's trying to autocorrect you. Well, buckle up, because that's what our pals at The Simpsons were joking about way before our sleek smartphones came around. So, here's the scoop. In a Season 6 episode titled Lisa on Ice, Marge is typing out Bart up Martin. But whoops, the phone goes rogue and changes it to Eat up Martha. Can you believe it? They were joking about autocorrect blunders when most phones could barely send a text. So I think they make us giggle every single time. How cool is that? Tom Hanks' Biden video appearance. Back in 2007 when the Simpsons movie was the talk of the town, well, during one scene, the Simpsons family are chilling on the couch, and who pops up on their TV?
What? Hello, I'm Tom Hanks.
None other than the legendary Tom Hanks. He's making fun of the US government in a commercial, suggesting they're not super trustworthy.
US government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
Castle Mike.
All in good fun, right? Well, now let's zoom into 2022. What's happening? Well, here comes the twist. Real-life Tom Hanks is on our TVs, and he's not joking around this time. Nope, he's sharing a heartwarming message about how Americans are sticking together.
It's why we keep getting up, no matter how many times we get knocked down.
Especially during tough times. He even gives a shout out to Biden's presidency. Every time the Simpsons do something wacky, I'm left scratching my head, wondering, are they time travelers or just super lucky guessers? Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. Now, let's talk about a puzzling tale that made quite a buzz on social media. You're not gonna believe this one. So, there's an episode of The Simpsons from way back in 1993, which predicted a tragic incident that happened 27 years later. Strange, isn't it? Look, there's a scene with a helicopter flying over the town. Some people thought this scene was foretelling Kobe Bryant's helicopter circling in the air before that terrible crash. And there's more. Another rumor claimed that there was a grave with Kobe Bryant's name in another episode. The writing on the grave was, Abraham Simpson believed father and murderer, but it was photoshopped as RIP 1953-2014 in loving memory of Kobe Bryant. So, this one was just a Photoshop fumble. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. Alright, have you ever been in on the secret that The Simpsons might be seeing into the future? In Season 11, Episode 6, back in 2005, The Simpsons showed an earthquake machine located deep underground. Now, some people out there have tried to connect the dots and say this episode somehow predicted the Turkey earthquake. But here's the scoop. Not everything is what it seems. And wait, it gets even crazier. Some rumors started swirling that The Simpsons also foresaw the Morocco earthquake. Well, guess what? That's not true at all. And remember, in a world where cartoons might just hold a crystal ball, always keep an eye on the animated tales. They might be painting our tomorrow. See you next time.